go. Unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. I gotta be honest with you, that game drove me nuts. I cannot believe the Buccaneers lost that game. Wow. I don't even know what to say. Tough one. Man, that was an absolute blazer from Coos, wasn't it? What a crazy game. The Bulls are bowl-bound for the third season in a row. An incredible performance. But listen, we know the competition. They did what they had to do. No more silver linings. No more moral victories. It was put up or shut up time. And boy, did they rise to the occasion. What is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing? Welcome to the Recher podcast. Everybody having a good Friday? I know I am. I am here at Al Lang Stadium. Rowdies training just finished up here on the pitch. What a beautiful day, man. What a beautiful day. And everybody's saying, oh, it's a freezing Friday. Oh, come on, Dolan. It's a nice one out here, man. I got the Rowdies step and repeat behind me. I got this beautiful chair. We are locked in. Come on. There we go, baby. We are ready to roll. I got my Rowdies fit. Listen, I want to show some love real quick to my guy, my man, Jared Guthrie and 813 Preps today. For those of you who don't know, 813 Preps is the number one source for your prep baseball coverage. And my guy, I might keep unplugging. Stop unplugging, microphone. Oh, hold on. There we go. Now we're cooking. All right. So, yeah, beautiful day here in the Tampa Bay area, and being outside with Al Lang. It's just so beautiful. It's so crisp out there. And listen, if you grew up in other parts of the country like I have, this is nothing. Just go outside with a hoodie and a jacket on. It's a beautiful walk, hanging out with my guy Jeff Attinella, who just started his new role with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. He is so excited to be here in the Bay Area and helping grow this wonderful sport. And we've seen it with the Rowdies. We've seen it with the Sun. This is a place that loves their soccer. So we're just going to continue to grow and continue to get bigger and better every single day here on the program. And, of course, we'll talk to our good friend Tricia Whitaker here in a bit about, of course, her Indiana Hoosiers and some baseball as well. Rays making moves. Bye-bye Lau, bye-bye Low. Kyle Tucker, Tampa's own, plan high to the Dodgers. The rich get richer, man. The Yankees were the evil empire when I was a kid, but I don't think so anymore. I'm going to give you the winners for NFL playoff matchup weekend. There is a lot of good games out there. So really looking forward to that entire thing. Great weekend of sports ahead. So make sure you guys follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I am everywhere, and like and subscribe on YouTube as well. And a big thank you to our partners: Honest Hammer Custom Builders LLC, 813-244-0956 for all your commercial and residential needs. And then EverHealth, everhealth.org, 17 different locations in Pinellas County. We had our EverHealth injury report with Dr. Carlos Rodriguez yesterday on the program, and we really got into the injury with Braden Point, and it's not as bad as we thought. Thank God. Because it could have been bad. It could have been a torn ACL. Luckily, it wasn't. How long is he going to be out? I mean, Doc is a pretty optimistic guy. So hopefully we'll see him sooner rather than later. And for him, hopefully he gets an opportunity to play in the Olympics, because I know how special it is to him to be one of those first guys named for the Olympic team. I know it means the world to Pointer. All right, so let's not bury the lead. I don't know if there's many people happier right now, and it's the happiest Hoosier we know, Tricia Whitaker. She's got IU jean jacket.
Put this on real quick.
Between you and my guy Ian Beckles, I just, everywhere I look, how bedazzled and everything. How wonderful is that?
My girl Marty made it for me. Shout out, Marty. It's
to
amazing. I
see
love it.
to see how happy you are. Like, this is the great thing about sports. Like, Ian is not one of those guys that is very sentimental, but to be able to look at him and he goes, you don't know how bad like we were for so long.
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah.
he was on one of the really better teams in Indiana history with Anthony Thompson as the running back, and now to see him so happy and to see you being able to take in this moment with your family. I mean, what is this like, Tricia? I mean, last year was great, but this year, like, this is one of the most historic runs that we've ever seen in college football.
It is. And you have to put them in the conversation for one of the best teams ever in college football
Yeah.
history. Which, to say those words, I'm just like, what just came out of my mouth? Like, I have no idea what I just said. You don't understand. So, Jay, my first assignment as a reporter was to cover IU football. They went 1-11. They went 1-11. That was my first assignment as a reporter, as a student at IU. And growing up, you know, we would go to IU football games, but we would just go for like the fun, like the free teachers, like tailgates, whatever.
Yeah.
It was just the laughing stock of the Big Ten. And now it's like we have the Heisman winner. We are going to the national championship, and we are not just like winning games. We're kicking everybody's ass. Like, it's like insane. And Kurt Signetti, I remember, I could go on forever and I won't.
Okay, that's fine.
Kurt Signetti, he came to a basketball game at Assembly Hall. He goes out on the court. He starts screaming, you know, and we're like, what is this? Does he know where he is? Like, we don't win here. Like, that's cute. Like, thank you for, you know, showing enthusiasm and passion. But then he starts saying, Purdue sucks. Michigan sucks. And so does Ohio State. And we're like, you should have seen everybody go, oh no, he doesn't know, does he? He doesn't know. He doesn't know. And so we're all like, this is going to backfire. Nope, it didn't. We were wrong.
He knew it.
And it's
He knew
really
it.
thrilling.
Well, how great is this guy? I mean,
Amazing.
It's amazing. Like, he is one of check. What did he say? He's like, Google me. Google me. I mean, you need to be able to get into a place like that, and you need to believe almost before everybody else did. When did you know? When did you, like, obviously it wasn't that night at the basketball game, but when did you kind of know, like, this is something special going on here?
Okay, so a lot of people will say last year, but like, not me. This year, when we were 5-0, I was like, oh shit. I was like, we're good this year, you know, because like last year, you know, did I think we were going to be good again this year? I did. Did I think we were going to be this good? No. I kind of thought last year had just like some miracle vibes to it, some special sauce, right? And I was like, yeah, I think we're going to be good this year, but like, come on, like, really? Are we really going to go undefeated like we did last year up until we played Ohio State last year? I think I didn't realize it until we went 5-0. And I think the big game for everybody was Oregon. When we went to Oregon, and we beat the Ducks in their own stadium, and nobody was picking us. Like, everybody was like, you know, Oregon's going to win, and nobody is still picking us. Like, they still don't pick us. And it's like, what else do we have to do? But I think that's when I knew, damn, we got a special coach. We got a special group. We got a special program now when they beat Oregon in Oregon.
Yeah, that was one of those games where it wasn't. I love that they won some games where it wasn't so pretty. You know, Penn State game, the Iowa game. Like, you have to be able to win in every form or fashion. Yeah. And as they're bludgeoning Alabama, I texted Ian. I said, do you know that we live in a world where Indiana's beating the absolute dog shit out of Alabama on national television? He goes, I cannot believe what I'm watching. Like, Indiana's beating the crap out of like you said, they didn't just beat Alabama, they beat the living dog crap out of them.
Same with Oregon.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Yeah. What kind of vibes do you get from Fernando Mendoza? I get such Tim Tebow vibes of like pure as the driven snow. Looks right into the camera. Like, and people are like, whoa, Tim Tebow. So I'm like, when I judge college football, I don't always, if we're talking about the draft, then I'll talk about their prospects to the NFL. I'm judging them based on what they're doing right now, right? I think Fernando Mendoza is going to be a pretty good quarterback in the NFL, but right now, this guy is mature. He says the right thing. He's so deferential in his praise. Like, he's one of those people where it's like, he is not just a special football player. He seems like he's a special human being.
Yeah, exactly. Right. He gets up there and gives speeches. And I'm like, does he have like Chat GPT in his brain? Like, how is he speaking so eloquently and like saying all the right, wonderful things? But that's just who he is. And that's what I've heard from everybody. I've not had a chance to meet him. Hopefully at some point, because, I live in Bloomington and I kind of go to IU. I want to meet him at some point. But I've heard that he's just the real deal, and that, what you see is what you get, and that his teammates absolutely love him. And that's what I love the most. Like, you can see a lot of guys in front of the media say all the right things, and you're like, wow, you're really good at speaking to the media. But like, what do your teammates think of you? That's the teller. His teammates love him. Like you saw when he won the Heisman, his entire offensive line was there. They're like tackling him in the room when he won. They're going to Times Square with him. They're in it with him. Like obviously when you're a quarterback and you win the Heisman, your offensive line should have a piece of that trophy, So like, I just loved seeing how they all reacted to him, because that to me is the most telling thing. How do your teammates react when you succeed? Are they in your corner? Do they cheer just as loud, for you as the rest of the world? And so that to me was telling for Fernando Mendoza and his character.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because the one person that I often bring up when I have that discussion with people is Willie Adames. And as well as anybody, like Willie would be just as happy with somebody else doing something well. And you would never know, Willie was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, because he'd be on the top step, he'd be going crazy. And it's just like, that's the kind of guy. That's why even to this day, like I know the guy that came after him, and it's like Voldemort. We don't even mention his name here in the Tampa Bay area. But I was just like, getting rid of a guy like Willie Adames is like, I get the way that the Rays do business, but that type of human being, that's the kind of guy that you want to keep around your program, regardless of what level you're playing at.
I agree. And I still remember the reaction when Willie Adames was traded. And when you look back at it and then you see what ended up happening, it was almost like a weird foreshadowing thing, because everybody was so devastated when they traded Willie Adames. I mean, devastated. And at the time, we all understood, because you had to. What else were you going to do, right? But damn, I mean, seeing grown men crying in the clubhouse, like, that's just like, I remember Cash being like, I asked him about Willie one time, and he said, Willie is the type of person, if you say you don't like Willie, I judge you. And I'm like, that is literally like the most perfect explanation. And still to this day, whenever I see Willie, like, it's like, I give him a huge hug. Like, it's just like the best reunion. So, man, you're right. That's a really good comparison. Fernando Mendoza is the Willie Adames of college football.
I love that. Are you going to the game?
I'm going to the game. Jay, you think I would miss this?
I know. Okay, so Indiana wins this game. I mean, take me through that. I mean, what if Indiana ends up, because first off, people are saying, oh, Miami, it's a Miami home game. I go, you must not be familiar with college athletics. There's going to be 65 to 70% red, in my opinion, if not more. Because our friend Alyssa Lang, Trevor Sickma, a good buddy of mine, his wife says, I think it's 95% red. And then like in the game against Oregon, I'm like, holy
it
smoke.
Was
Unbelievable. So take me through what your thought process is going to be if Indiana ends up hoisting the national championship. I mean, what is that going to be like? I mean, are you going to be
down? I am going to burn the town down, Jay.
Oh my God.
I will lose my ever-loving mind. I will be unhinged, and I will make absolutely zero apologies for it if we win the national championship. Like, I know I've said this 1,000 times, but people don't understand like what this means for our school. A school can have a good basketball program, and IU has had that, and that's great. But when you have a good college football program, that transforms the university, it transforms the town, and it makes history for the university that cannot ever be taken away, and the effect of it can't be taken away. So it's not just like, damn, we've been a losing football team for forever, but it's like, oh my God, this changes the trajectory of the university. It really does. And also it's like getting to experience it with my friends and family, like who I grew up with. Like, these are people who I knew when I was 8 years old. And it's just like, you're going to be so embarrassed by my Instagram posts if we win the national title. And, I don't think I'll get arrested or anything, but, I would have somebody on speed dial if I need to be bailed out of jail for like sprinting down the street or something like that, But I'm going to cry and scream and do all the things. But we have to get there first. I can't let myself go there, because I still don't believe we can have nice things,
Yeah, I'm with you. I wanted to ask you this too, because as somebody that's, and I'm going to ask you about the Jacksonville reporter, Liam Cohen, here in a second. When you work in the industry, whether you're any type of media, any type of press, you work in sports, we have to be so objective, and we always have to kind of like put this here, right?
Yeah.
And we can't really get into it, and we can't really put all of our heart and our soul into certain things. And I tell people all the time, like, the one thing I love about watching Manchester United soccer team is like, I don't have to be a unbiased journalist in any form or fashion. I can get pissed. I can go crazy. Like, how nice is it for you where you have to do all of these things, where you have to be stoic and you have to be, you have to be grounded kind of and fair on both sides, to just be able to kind of let your hair down literally and figuratively and just be a freaking sports fan, which is something that I think we lose a little bit when we work in sports media, don't we?
Totally. Everything gets ruined when you work for like, it does. You lose your freedom because you see, it's always like, if you don't want to know how the sausage is made, then don't ask type of thing. Like, working in sports will jade you. It will jade you because you see the bad side of it. You see really, really bad people. There are very bad people in sports. There's bad people everywhere, but there's a lot of bad people in sports, and a lot of toxicness in sports, right? So for me to be like removed from the media perspective with IU football has been a joy of my life. Like, I'm not even kidding you. That sounds dramatic, but whatever, it's true. Like, that's why I act so unhinged on Instagram when they win. Like, I'm like, there's no other team I can act unhinged with, right?
Right.
Because like, I might be able to act a little unhinged with the Pacers, but like, I worked for the Pacers, right? I didn't work for IU football. I covered them when I was a student, and that hardly even counts. So like, this is just like me experiencing the game just like everybody else does. Like, I'm one of those fans where if somebody's like, oh, I heard Fernando Mendoza like was a jerk, I'd be like, you watch your mouth. Whereas like a media member, I would be like, let's explore that a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. But here I'm like, nuh-uh, you will not insult my people.
Nobody besmirches Mendoza in front of Tricia Whitaker. Well, regardless of how embarrassed you may be, I tell this to people all the time. If you ever find anything in your life, whether it's sports related, usually for people like us that love sports as much as we do, it's usually sports related. But if you ever find something that gives you that much joy and happiness, don't apologize, because I think we spend the majority of our life trying to find anything that fulfills us as much as sports can. And to some people, it may seem shallow and well, it's just sports. It's easy for you to say. I mean, when my grandmother watched the Yankees win the World Series in 1996, and she was in her 80s, and I looked over and I said, Grandma, why are you crying? And she said, after Thurman Munson died, I never thought I'd watch the Yankees win the World Series again. And it's my grandma in the 80s. She watched them win, but she was a fan in the 30s and the 40s. So what you're going through, definitely don't apologize and enjoy every freaking moment with your family. I wanted to ask you about the Liam Cohen situation with the Jacksonville reporter, because, you teaching journalism there at Indiana. And I think it's a very interesting conversation to have. And Ian and I have gone back and forth about this a lot, because I think a lot of people only see one side, right? A lot of people look at it from the fan side, say, what's the big deal? It's only 27 seconds. And then you see people on the journalism side and they're like, that is not the right place. You're not supposed to be biased, blah, blah. So I've tried to kind of give everybody both sides of the argument, because instead of just bashing people that don't have the same opinion, why don't we just try to talk about it and meet in the middle? That's been
wild
kind of
concept, right?
I know, what a wild concept. And Ian was kind of getting on my case, like, stop being the 10% of people that are trying to make sense in the world. What was your initial reaction? And then, because as time goes, like, you start thinking about it, you start seeing people's reaction. What is your take on that?
Yeah, so I think if you're overreacting one way or the other, get something else to do with your life, right? It's
Right.
really not big of
No
a deal
doubt.
at the end of the day. I would never overreact to this, and I would never like harp on it for forever because hello, there's bigger issues in the world. This is so stupid. We're not that important in sports. Like it's sports. Our job is
Right.
not that serious. Like I
Hmm.
hate when journalists take our job too seriously. I'm like, you're asking a man about catching a rubber ball. Like, why are you acting like this is like the most intense thing in the world? Like, I
Right.
understand it's sports and it means something, but like, chill out. So, but I mean, my opinion is that like that was not the time or place. I did think it was unprofessional, and I thought it was really weird. And
Hmm.
I don't think that that's what you should be saying at a press conference. And I think if you want to say that to a coach, you say it to them afterwards, not at the press conference. That being said, I'm not going to like rip her to shreds. That's insane. Like what, she
Right.
didn't do anything terrible. Like it's not that serious. And if she were sitting right here in the room, I'd be like, yeah, I thought it was weird and I probably wouldn't have
Hmm.
done it. And I don't really think that's the place to do it. But like, okay, like, cool, move on with your life. Like, you didn't do anything terrible. Whereas I know fans are like, why is there something wrong with that? And it's like, okay, the reason there's something wrong with that is because when you're sitting there in a press conference, like your job is just like not to be a cheerleader. It's not to be a
Hmm.
cheerleader. It just it's not, right? And when I was the Rays reporter, like I did have to lean like Rays heavy, right? I always had to give it an optimistic twist, you know?
Hmm.
But I would have never done something like that. And I was the
Right.
Rays reporter. So like,
Hmm.
yes, I do think that kind of crosses a line. And I don't think it was the right thing to do. But at the same time, like as long as people don't do it all the time and they don't take notes from that, then like let's just move on. And I'm also not gonna like rip her to shreds. That's nuts. Like who cares?
Yeah.
Like it's not like she did anything terrible. Like so I thought it was weird, and I would not do that. I would not recommend anybody do that because I think
Hmm.
it's a little unprofessional, but it is what it is.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And I gave both sides. Like, I look at a situation like that where I understand the sentiment. I just didn't understand the setting, right? Like I get it.
Yeah.
You feel like you were representing your community and it made the community better. That's fine. And I know people on the outside, you'll never understand why that wasn't the right place and time
Yeah.
because unless you've been there in a press conference after a team is lost, right? It is how awkward is I mean, you've had obviously some of the greatest videos ever being in locker rooms with guys pouring champagne on your head. Like that's I mean, that's some of the things that
Or
people look
guys
at.
angry after a loss, like Tommy Pham threatening to kill a man on live television one time when they
Okay.
interviewed him.
Well, there you go. But that's what I'm saying.
And then
Like,
the Kevin Cash moment when he was like, after Mike Brasso got that 101-mile-per-hour fastball, I asked Cash,
mhm.
I was like, what was your perspective? He's like, I got a whole damn stable of guys who can throw 90 miles per hour, period. And I'm like, oh boy.
All
Okay.
right, there you go. Like people don't understand that aspect of it, right? They just look at it like, oh, this is a nice gentleman. I'm like, man, look at the other side. I've been in there. I've been in that Lightning locker room after they lost the Stanley Cup, and it's like a morgue in there. It's a funeral, and nobody wants to ask a question. And then it's like, hey, Stammer, you know what I mean? It's just like people think like, oh, it's such an easy thing to do. Tricia, it's it's not easy at all, is it?
It's horrible. It's
Yeah,
horrible.
it is.
Like I remember when Tyler Glasnow was with the Rays, he was the most intense pitcher I'd ever met on start day, which meant he was intense after a game, especially after he had a
Oh,
rough
yeah.
game. But the thing about Tyler is he was such a professional that like he understood my job, and he
Mhm.
understood that like I had to ask him questions. It's all about the way that you phrase the question, right?
Right.
You cannot be too positive like she was and be a
Mhm.
cheerleader, but you also can't be like, hey, you really messed that up. Like you
Yeah.
weren't good today. Your
Mhm.
fastball was bad. Like you
Right.
can't say it like that because they're human too. And also that's not really professional. So what you say instead is like, I would always, with a starting pitcher after he had a bad game, I would always give him the floor first to tell me how he felt
Right.
because I hate putting words in players' mouths, right? So I would always say, Tyler, you were cruising through the first and the second inning. The third inning, it seemed like the wheels fell off a little bit. Were you out of rhythm? What did you feel on the mound today? And then that gives him the chance to say, this is how I felt. And it gives him the chance to say anything he needs to say, right? I've had guys be like, my finger's messed up. in the first question I asked. And had I
Mhm.
not given him the floor to give his perspective, we never would have known that unless we like finally got to it. That's important information, right? So I always start with that. And then I can go into specifics. Then I can go into, all right, on that 3-run home run in the 5th inning, what were you trying to do, with that pitch or whatever it was? That was a long at bat, blah, 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 blah. Then you can get specific. But I do think it's important to, when somebody loses, especially, to give them the floor first. And you can't be too much of a cheerleader, but you also can't be an asshole, right? There are
Right.
two very strong sides. And I
Mhm.
think in this situation, she was being too much of a cheerleader. So,
Right.
yeah.
No, I'm with you too, and I think a lot of people, they get on local reporters or whatever, and they say, "What kind of questions are that?" Sometimes sometimes you don't have to say much. You kind of like, "Coop, rough night tonight. What do you got?" Boom, and that's all. You just say what you got to say and get the hell out of the way, because we are not the story. And I
No.
think that's the whole thing that gets lost in the whole process with this lady. Again, very sweet gesture, but it's
Right.
not. They were like, "Oh, it's this is nice. It's a good interaction between her and him." You know what the problem with that is? It shouldn't be about her in a moment like that. It's not
No.
her. It's about the
And
team. It's
now
about the
it's
coach.
been made about her. What is everybody talking about with that Jaguars loss? Her.
Right.
And it's like, that's not how it was supposed to be, which I don't know that was her intent.
No, I
Again.
don't think it was. I don't think it
Yeah.
was. And I think that's where, at the end of the day, I feel like us, and like we said before, we are jaded, right? So then I start looking at like, are we too focused on professionalism instead of kindness? You know what I mean?
No.
Because it's
No,
like,
no, no.
that's the thing, is like, I don't think we are, but you know what I mean? You start thinking about that. Like, this time, as long as people aren't turning into Dr. Phil after every friggin' loss,
No.
like I said, I think it'll be okay.
I think we're gonna be all right.
I think we'll be okay.
But there is like a point where obviously when I covered the Rays, I was very close with everybody on that team. I was close with their families. I was close with their wives. I was close with their grandmas. So whenever they lost in the playoffs or whatever it was, yeah, it's like hard because I feel sad too. Like,
yeah, no doubt.
I was very invested in that team. But if I'm going to say something to a guy after an interview to try to encourage him, I'm going to wait till the interview's done, the cameras are off, and the media has dispersed, right? So I've done that before, okay? So, I think it was Jose Siri one time. Man, you remember those years he had. He had a rough year, and he was dejected. And I had to interview the poor guy because it was just bad. I mean, he went like a month without a hit or something insane. I don't remember. And I had to interview him after the game, okay? And he's very respectful because we had a great friendship. After the interview, I could tell he was not okay. I mean, he was just dejected. So we're done with the interview. We turn off the camera, and the media has dispersed. And I go up to him, and I just I think I put my hand on his shoulder, and I was like, "You'll get it together. Don't worry. It's gonna be okay." And you can tell that the coaches still believe in you. Okay. That's the time to do it in a one-on-one setting. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially being the team reporter. I have a relationship with those guys, but I would never do that in an interview ever, because it's just not what you do. It's not professional.
I'm with you. What are your thoughts on Kyle Tucker going to the Dodgers? The rich get richer.
Yeah, man, I don't know. My opinion with this is probably not the most popular opinion. I understand that Tucker fits the Dodgers. I understand that players are going to go for the most money. Duh, of course. But there is, the competitive imbalance worry that I have. It's a common thing with the Dodgers right now is that, that payroll dominance, it just makes it difficult for other teams.
Yeah.
And, it raises legitimate questions about fairness across the league. And again, it's nothing against the Dodgers. That's the thing. If I were the Dodgers, I would be doing this too. Of course you're going to do it, but there has to be a way. I have lost my voice for 2 weeks.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
There has to be a way to fix this so that it's not that much of a disadvantage to the rest of the league. And I know that that's a really difficult solution to come to, and I don't really have one. I am not a sports economist or an expert. I was told there would be no math, okay? But what I do know is I don't think it's good for the game. And I can say that without insulting the Dodgers. I'm not coming at the Dodgers because I understand. You're going to do that. You're allowed to. Why wouldn't you? Duh, you want to win games. So like, I'm not coming at the Dodgers. I'm saying that like, there's gotta be a way to fix this and make it more fair across the league. It is escalating, you know,
Yeah, it is.
broader concerns in the league with the economic, and it's legitimate. And anybody who says it's not legitimate, I'm like, I don't know. How can you say that? How can you say that it's fair? It's not always going to be fair. I get that. But like, it's really not fair right now, you know?
Yeah, it's as bad as it's ever been. And like I said, the Yankees were the evil empire. Dodgers have blown right past that. Nobody knew that they were going to do in the offseason. They might stand pat. They signed Edwin Diaz, and now they signed Kyle Tucker. And I was like, oh, just go sign Bo Bichette and go sign Cody Bellinger and call it a day. But we just saw that Bo Bichette just signed with the Mets, a 3-year deal for $120 million. All right, everybody and their mother in the Tampa area is rooting for the Indiana Hoosiers for two people, you and Ian Beckles. So,
oh my gosh, I love you so much for that. I love you.
Just to let you know that I can't tell you how many times that we've talked about Indiana here in the last couple of months, and people just kept saying, yeah, we're happy for Ian, we're happy for Tricia, we're happy for Ian. Bro, it's been, sorry to call you bro, but it's just one of those things where so many people have said that to me, and I'm like, I know that they appreciate it. So
listen,
I know it's great.
I loved working for the Rays so much because of the Rays, but I also loved it because of that community. Like, it's been a year and a half since I worked for the Rays, and I still have people constantly reaching out who are like, oh my gosh, we're cheering for IU because you worked for the Rays and we were big Rays fans. And like, I'll still go places and people will be like, hey, you were the Rays reporter. Like, we loved when you were there. Blah. And I just like always felt so supported by that community and you and everybody there. I mean, it just like, that was a wonderful, wonderful community to work in as a sideline reporter for a Major League Baseball team, because sometimes I talk to my other sideline reporter friends who are in Major League markets and they're like,
not the same.
Fans are not nice. They are not nice. And I'm like, I cannot relate. My fans in Tampa, the Rays fans, they were so nice.
Yeah, and you know, there's Chloe has a billboard now. I don't know if you saw that.
What?
Yes. Next time I see it, I'll take a picture and send it to you. I don't know if it's still up, but yeah, Chloe's in one of the. I mean, she's a celebrity around here, but there's a billboard. I forgot what it's for, like, specifically, but I'm gonna try to find it and I'll send it to you for sure.
God,
but again, one of the greatest moments I think in the history of television, not just here locally.
That makes me so happy to hear, because she, like, oh man, everybody still asks me, like, what's your favorite moment of your broadcasting career? It's always that moment. It will always be that moment, because that
everybody
moment
melted.
Everybody melted, and it was just like something greater than baseball. You knew that, like, and I'm pretty religious. Like, my faith means a lot to me. So like, I just like felt like in that moment, it was so much more than baseball. And it was just like this feeling of like hope. And it was just like undeniable, like that there was like hope in the building that day. And it was Chloe who like gave us that. I will never forget that moment. It still makes me
we will never forget you here in the Tampa Bay area. Tampa Bay Tricia, still the number one national anthem singer in Rays history, no doubt about it. Tricia, thank you so much. I know you haven't been feeling great, so for you to give me some time today to talk with you, you're the best. And again, we're cheering on Indiana for you. Enjoy the game, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Jay. See you later.
You're the best. The great Tricia Whitaker joining us on the program. Bring that chair around so you can come sit down. I don't want you to stand up there. My guy, Jeff Attinella, joining us here. Heavy chair. Come on, man. There we go. Look at, oh, man. I don't know. There we go. Our guy, Jeff Attinella's here. Rowdies. There you go, buddy.
I'm in.
He's in. All right. I don't know if the microphone works with one or two people, but we can just put it in the middle. Hopefully it'll work. Can you guys hear us okay? Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Tricia Whitaker, man, unbelievable.
I told you this before, but she rocked one of the Indiana shirts to the Rose Bowl.
Oh yeah.
It was big time. She was responding back. You know, she doesn't even respond to me. She's responding back, saying people love the shirts, tagging us on Instagram. She did her thing.
Sweet to go. So, man, now we got to talk louder. Thank you, Benny. So now, you got to roll with the Rowdies, man. Tell us what's this about?
I'm in. So, you know, it's something that we've been talking about for a long time, me and the president, Ryan Helfrich. And, I've always done stuff in a minor, a little bit of a smaller capacity, but, it just kind of seemed like the time to take the plunge into more of a full-time role. So my title is Director of Content and Development and Strategy. So it'll be a little bit more, social media stuff, trying to figure out how to get those things involved. But, I think that the main part of the job is going to be community outreach, making sure that we're getting the brand, building the brand.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what I love to do. And the Rowdies are something that I'm passionate about. So trying to build this brand in the Tampa Bay area, it's a historic brand, but I think at the same time, there aren't enough people that know about it.
Yeah, no doubt.
So trying to figure out how to grow the brand, get that reach, and then I'll also be doing the broadcast for the home game. So
you'll be the color guy.
Yeah, I'll be the main color analyst this year as well. So
good.
Jeff, the shirt guy. Yep, that's me.
That's you. So you're still Smack then?
Still with Smack.
Okay,
yep,
good.
we're still doing Smack. We're still involved in that as well. But I took this job as a little bit more of a full-time role so that it's something that for me it's a passion project, right? Like the Rowdies helped give me my start for my professional career, and we were fortunate enough to win a championship when I was here, and now it's just kind of that time to get back.
You're responsible for the second star, which is pretty damn cool.
That one.
Jeff Attinella. What was that like making that save? Did you realize that it would have such a profound impact on the rest of your life? For those of you who don't know, what year was it?
2012.
So 2012, and there was the NASL at the time, right?
Yes. Yep.
So at the NASL, and obviously the Rowdies are in the USL now, but the NASL championship came down to PKs, and Jeff was in goal for the Rowdies. And I know a lot of you guys have heard of Jeff before. You hear him on Pat and Aaron and doing Pick'em and Smack Power the last couple of years. And I think we don't mention enough the reason why, him being here, the other football side. But for him being the keeper for the Tampa Bay Rowdies back in 2012 and the NASL championship came down to penalty kicks. Jeff made the save. Rowdies win the NASL championship. When you win a championship, you put a star above the badge. Did you know at the time when you made that save what kind of impact that was going to have on your life?
I think the coolest thing about that is I saved 3 or 4.
Yeah,
so I don't talk too much about my playing career, but no, it was 3 or 4. But I didn't at the time. You know what I mean? It was something where you're in the moment, you're playing the game, and games happen how they happen. Sometimes you make the save, sometimes you give up the goal, and fortunately for me, I was able to make that save, and really it was just helping the team win the championship. You know what I mean? It's anytime that you get that far in a season, a lot of people are playing injured, a lot of people are playing through a lot of different stuff. So really just to be able to be on a team that wins a championship and lifts a trophy, that's the goal every single season. So be able to help in that fashion. But I didn't think it was going to be something that stuck with me as long as it did, but I knew at the time that doing it for the hometown team was an awesome experience. I went to USF. I grew up in this soccer community. So I really felt like that was going to be the impact that I had, was adding the star. That was going to be kind of like my swan song of signing off from Tampa soccer, because after that, obviously I moved out west and played a little bit. But then, ever since moving back, it's just been something that, I get a good footprint in the community. I get an understanding of the soccer community down here. And it's something where now I can use my experiences that I've had both professionally, but also off the field to help the brand grow. At the time it helped the brand grow on the field, and now it's my time to kind of do it off it.
What high school did you go to?
Countryside.
There you go. Benny is always tuning in. Countryside High School, USF grad, USF Hall of Famer too. Let's not forget that. And then obviously we talk a lot about Smack Apparel. Let's talk a little USF too. How excited are you for Brian Hartline and Rob Higgins and Derek Brooks? I was over there at the Yingling Center this week a couple nights. It's just something brewing over there, man. It just seems like every single day I go over there, it just gets bigger and better.
Yeah, for me, the Rob Higgins hire is just the best thing that could have possibly happened to the university at the right time. I know Rob, we kind of go back. I got to know him when I was playing soccer, and just his passion for the university and just his work ethic. He's always posted on social media when he leaves and when he's there, and there's only like a 6-hour time frame during each day that he's not there putting the work in for USF. But it just kind of seems like the time is now for USF, and he's the exact person that you want kind of leading the charge for that. So for that aspect, I'm very excited. And then, anything that involves USF football, you bring in a guy from Ohio State. There was some social media clip out there yesterday where the wide receivers are talking about how they should go to USF over anywhere else.
I love
that. Anytime that there's that type of buzz, and then, the on-campus stadium that's coming to town, and it's just a great time to be involved in USF. And again, USF and the Rowdies are the two institutions that for me, they did a lot for me in my career professionally. And then how do I give back the best that I can? How can I support them the best that I can? And, anything that I could do for USF, I'm always there for it. But just to sit back and watch as a fan and as a proud alumni in a area where so many people like Florida and Florida State, and to see what USF is doing and understand that they're really on an upswing and that they're bringing real college football and a real college football stadium to campus. It's exciting. If you're in the Tampa Bay area, it's exciting.
Yes, it's the perfect time to be a Tampa Bay sports fan. We were walking out on the grass earlier today, and just to be on the pitch here at Al Lang, for everybody out there, and I tell you, like, if you've never been into soccer, I always try to tell people, like, just give it a shot, watch it, pick a team, pick a player, go to a Rowdies game, rowdiesoccer.com, go to the website there, get everything. I mean, to be on the grass today, it was so nice to be out there. And I'm very excited to see what Dominic Casiato does this year. He comes in the middle of last year. It was probably one of the worst Rowdy seasons that I've seen, at least in my time living here. And there is such an onus for him to get this thing turned around. He tells me a lot about guys having to earn their spot, but also having pride for the badge. And I know that means a lot to you. And how much do you look for that for this young group to be able to come in? Because there is so many fresh faces, only 4 guys carried over from the team last year. It's just, they need to understand what this team is all about, what this club is all about.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a rich history, right? So anytime that you're representing a club, even if you're a new player and you're coming into a team, especially in a league like the USL, and there is such a rich history with the team, there's a level of responsibility that comes with that.
Right.
And I think that the important thing, and Dom's done a good job coming in. We've had a lot of conversation, and I think that the most important part is making sure that the players understand that there's a lot of responsibility when you play for a team like this. But at the same time, you talk about how beautiful Al Lang is, you talk about the stadium, we talk about the community, and this is one of the best. I've been to them all. Like, when I tell you I've played in them all, I've been to them all. I've seen every stadium that this country has to offer for soccer, whether it's watching through TV, whether it's playing there. This is one of the most beautiful places to take in a soccer match in the entire country.
Right.
And I would put it up against anybody. I don't care that it's USL versus MLS or anything like that. That's where Al Lang is situated, the backdrop that you have, the field, the setup. It's unbelievable. And if you haven't been out there, it's a World Cup year. So there's going to be a lot of people that are watching this that don't like soccer now, but come the summer, you're going to end up being – that just happens every year, right? Every time there's a World Cup around.
We're actually going to do some stuff. I was just talking to Jake about this. We're going to do some stuff around the World Cup with the guys, with the Rowdies. So we'll do something with me, you, and Jan and Leo, and then some of the players, and maybe do some predictions and do some nice social content for all of us. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, it'd be great. And but you know how it is, man. Like, anytime there's a World Cup, everybody that never watched soccer is the biggest soccer fan, and everybody wants. And
we'll take it. We were talking about that off air, because like that's the big thing too, and that's why I love having this platform on the podcast, is because we're not, like you guys know, you're watching right now. I am not one of those guys that is just like going to play it by the book. We're only going to talk about like we're going to get into the nitty gritty. And one of the things that we really need to make sure that we do here, and part of the reason why I take this responsibility of covering these, is to grow the game, like to be able to grow baseball, to be able to grow soccer. We've seen how much the Lightning have grown hockey. Like, it's important for people to be able, there's a lot of people out there that are watching right now. You have your son, you have your daughter play soccer. Have you been to a Rowdies game, right? Have you checked out some of the camps that they've done? Have you done little Rowdies and junior Rowdies? Have you seen that type of stuff? Like, it's important that we reach out to some of these club teams, because it is, we talk about the rich history of soccer here. There's also a ton of soccer players here locally, whether it's at the youth level, the high school level, or former pros that live here. It's important we get that demographic as well out here to support the Rowdies too, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's such a rich soccer community here, and it's only gotten bigger. Yeah. And, being one of the people that moved back home that played soccer, I'm kind of a unicorn around here because a lot of people do other sports. The amount of parents that come up to me randomly at any of my kid events that are asking me about soccer, that want to learn the game because their kids are in it, their kids love it, they don't understand the game, and then they start watching it a little bit and they start to fall in love with it. The hurdle, and the thing that I'll challenge people with, is it's fun to watch EPL League, right? Yeah. It's fun to wake up and watch the EPL. That's good, and it's fun. You get to watch it on TV. But my challenge to people is take that next step and support your local team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a professional team here. And when the fans are popping, when the team's doing well, when the team's scoring goals, there's been a lot of emphasis on making the team better this year. There's a lot of turnover, but it needed to happen. Mm-hmm. Come support the local team. You know what I mean? It's something that it's fun to watch it on TV, but it's a totally different experience when you're taking part of one of the membership groups and you're singing the songs yourself, and it's something that you start having a lot of pride in. So that's my challenge to everybody. That's my challenge in my new job.
Yeah,
is to make sure that people in the area start coming out here and really understand what the Rowdies are and who they represent. And it's a challenge that I'm really looking forward to because it's something that means a lot to me.
Yeah, and it means a lot to me. And listen, if you've never been to a game before here at Outlang, like, you're missing out. Like, I don't even know if you necessarily have to be a full-blown soccer fan to be able to come and just enjoy a night. And it's just, even in some of the hotter nights during the summer, it could be hot everywhere else, but that breeze coming off the water right there is just, it's incomparable. It's one of the best places. I mean, it's so nice. And we see how much South St. Pete really has been built up. I mean, the stores and the shops, and just come down here, man. If you've never been here, it's a really, really great thing to do as far as an event goes. And even if you're a sports fan, obviously, if you're watching the show, like, you got to be able to come out here and don't. It's almost like one of those things where if you've been here, you're not going to not want to come back. That's the thing. It's like, I've yet to meet somebody that says, I've been to a Rowdies game and I didn't really enjoy it. It's just so much fun. And the thing about soccer that I think people that don't understand is, like, it's kind of set as far as how long it's going to take.
Yeah, when
right?
it's ended.
You know when it's ending. So it's like, for some of these other things where baseball, you could be there 2 hours, you could be there 4 hours. Like soccer, it's a good 45, it's a good 20 minutes, it's another 45, maybe a couple minutes after that, and then you're gone. So, I mean, you're only committing a couple hours. So it's not like, it's not pulling teeth for people that, are scared about dipping their toe in the water. So, yeah, definitely. Rowdysoccer.com, all the information there. Before I let you go, I want your predictions from this morning from the Pat and Aaron show on WDAE. I'm going to give mine here in a little bit. All right. As far as this weekend, and we'll pull the games up so you can see them.
Oh, I got him. I got him in memory, man.
All
I got
right,
him.
Saturday at 4:30, Buffalo and Denver. Who you got?
I'm going with Buffalo. I just think that the Josh Allen Superman effect. I worry about the Buffalo's defense a little bit, but they did just enough versus Jacksonville. Maybe they could do just enough versus the Broncos offense. But give me Superman and Josh Allen in that one.
San Francisco, Seattle, and NFC West matchup Saturday at 8 p.m. Who do you got in that one?
I'm going Seattle. Before week 18, I thought San Francisco was the better team, and then Seattle absolutely just dogged them. And I don't know that they could recover from that quick of a turnaround. So give me Seattle.
No George Kittle either. So that's
a big one.
Hurt. Sunday, probably the lowest scoring game of the weekend. Houston, New England, 3 p.m. Probably not going to be the greatest weather. Who do you have in that one?
This is the game I'm honestly most excited to watch because watching the Texans defense last week was fun.
Scary.
It's fun, to see a good. You don't see that a lot in Tampa Bay.
That's right.
But to see a good defense with game wreckers, I'm going to take the Patriots to win this game. I know that the Texans are the hottest team in football right now, but I just think that Patriots offense is a little bit better than the Texans offense, and I think the defenses are pretty comparable.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And CJ Stroud, turning over the football, that ain't going to work. And then finally,
last week.
No, I didn't. Sunday at 6:30, the Rams and the Bears. This is going to be a good one to finish off the slate this weekend.
Man, I'm drinking the Bears Kool-Aid right now.
You are.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I like them. They're fun to watch. I know the weather's supposed to be terrible up there, so maybe they'll get a little bit of luck there with the Rams being a warm weather team. But give me the Bears, man. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
John Momola, my guy Jeff, bear down, he says.
Yeah. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, man. They got the Pope on their side. How can you lose with the Pope on your side?
Oh, gosh. We're going to make it. We try to keep religion out of the show. No, I'm definitely.
We have a shirt that says the prayers, so it's pretty funny.
Oh, wait. Before I let you go, somebody said something about Hammer, our guy Russ. Shout out to Jeff for the Gene t-shirt. Bought one this morning. Congrats on the new position.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I appreciate you buying the shirt as well. That's a new one that we got to pay a little bit of homage to Gene Deckerhoff and his historic career that he had here. So just supporting the man who's done so much for the city.
I mean, it's just been what an incredible ride. And, you've done some play-by-play work with the color side. And, how nice is that going to be for you to be able to be that guy that's going to be here every game? You're working with Drew Felios, who I've known for a long time as well.
He used to call my games in high school.
Isn't that crazy?
No, I'm working with him.
So, yeah, doing the stuff with the Rowdies, but to be able to call the games, I know you've traveled a lot to Fort Lauderdale to do these games. It's got to be nice to be able to stay local for these now, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's I think for fans, it's really going to be the most rewarding thing because I'm a person who's going to have all access to the team. I'm going to really understand what's going on the week in, the week out, so there's going to be a lot of good insight. And when you don't have somebody that's close with the team consistently doing the color analyst, it's tough to really fully understand and embrace everything that's going on and have a good knowledge. So for me, I'm excited to be able to share that knowledge. I'm excited to be involved and be around the team. That's something I definitely been missing in my life, is that kind of that team aspect. And it's just going to be fun, man. Being the voice of the Rowdies, what's better than that?
You got that right. The one and only Jeff Attinella, Rowdies legend, MLS legend, USF Hall of Famer. He is the man and the new director of content for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and he's going to be doing everything.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I also taking Indiana too. I think they're going to.
Indiana.
I think they're going to steamroll.
And you should see his little baby blue notebook. He's got. There you go. This guy. You're the man, brother. Thank you so much. The one and only Jeff Attinella. And we're just so happy to be here. You can just keep that there. That's fine. Yeah, I'll just move this over. Thank you, buddy. Oh man, what a great start to the show. Tricia Whitaker, Jeff Attinella. My man's moving and grooving and shaking. And this is what we want to do here with the Rowdies. This is a great setup that we have here today. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, brother.
You're the man. Have a good weekend, all right?
You too. Safe travels.
Yes, thank you. Good stuff. My guy. All right. So that was nice, man. I'll always love talking to Jeff. I'll give you my NFL predictions here in a bit. Make sure you guys follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. Today, the interview is going down. It's going down. Basement. Buccaneers. Some breaking news for the Lightning. Braden Point officially placed on IR about 20 minutes ago. Giants and John Harbaugh working through the details of their contract. Lightning have recalled Brandon Halverson from Syracuse. Johansson didn't practice yesterday, so that's something to be mindful of. Bo Bichette to the Mets, 3 years, $126 million. He's going to play third base for the Mets. I'm just trying to make sure that you guys have a little bit of everything. Okay. The big thing today is for the Bucks, for Bucks fans out there, is the interview with Mike McDaniel. Let me tell you how important this is. I think this is one of the most important hirings that the Buccaneers are ever going to make if it ends up being the guy, because you're going to find out what the next year plus is going to look like for this team. I think it's a built-in, I don't want to call it a safety net, but I'm going to. It's a built-in coach where if it doesn't work for Todd Bowles, you don't even have to. I don't even think you have to wait the entire year. If it doesn't work next year and the Bucs start 1-4, and I know the Glazers don't like to do it in the middle of the season, but let's say we get to a point next year and the Bucs are 1-4, they're 1-5. Mike McDaniel's offensive coordinator. Is it really going to take them moving heaven and earth to make this decision? Like, I don't think so. You got to bring this guy in here. You got to revitalize this offense no matter what. You need somebody that is going to excite the fan base too, and somebody that's been there, somebody with experience. I think you're playing a dangerous game if you go down the route and go down the road of having a guy like Josh Grisardian. Well, he was in the meetings with this guy, and he was in these passer meetings. He knows let's hope he learned from Liam Cohen. Like, that's, again, when you're one of those teams that's all about ifs and ands and shoulds and woulds, like, you're not consistent. What can you hang your hat on next year going into the 2026 season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Your offensive line, you know who your five guys are, right? Gedeke, Malk, Barton, Bredesen, Tristan Wirfs, right? You know what your wide receiving core is looking like outside of Mike Evans. No matter what, and I think Mike will come back, but Godwin, Ibuka, McMillan, Tez Johnson, right? You'll like that. You like that. Baker will be back. You probably need a backup. Rashad's gone. And then defensively, you obviously need a lot of pieces there. So there's not as much. I mean, Chase McLaughlin will be your kicker. But there's a lot more questions than answers when it comes to the Bucs. You got to start crossing some of these things off. And you don't have to wait until the end of the year. Don't wait. Go make a move right now. And we see what the Giants have done, putting that full court press and making sure that John Harbaugh is their guy, and they're still working out some of the kinks in the contract. Identify who you want and go after them. This is a much different scenario than we saw a couple years ago when they were on their 10th option and brought in Dave Canales. Will Nate Scheelhaas be a good offensive coordinator, a good coach in the league? Maybe. Do you want to retread like a Brian Callahan? Do you want a guy like Todd Monken? Or do you want a guy like Mike McDaniel? I think the way that Mike McDaniel runs his offense with all the pre-snap motion to keep the defenses honest and to keep them on their toes, and the way that he was able to – now you have a guy – listen, Mike McDaniel's offense, getting the ball out of the hands of the quarterback quick, spreading the ball around, utilizing all the weapons that you have, that is what Baker does well. That is accentuating his strength. And now you have an offense where if your quarterback doesn't make the play on platform and on time, like that's what one of the big things with the Dolphins was. They did a great job. When everything was on time, they were in good shape. When they were able to kind of go around and be able to toss the ball to different guys, to get Hill involved, to get Waddle involved, to get Gesicki, get Achane, to get Mostert, and I'm talking about the last couple of years together, right? That's when they were at their best. Speed, pre-snap motion, disguising what you're going to do. But what ended up happening was when the Dolphins played a top-tier defense, or they played in cold weather, or there was any type of variable, they struggled. You look at what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers thrive in. They thrive in that chaos sometimes offensively. So if you look at the Baker Mayfield, Mike McDaniel possible partnership, if Baker can make all of those throws that Mike McDaniel is going to ask him to make, and it's not going to be anything crazy, but then when things break down, it doesn't just go to hell in a handbasket, and then Baker can continue to do what he loves to do, and that's scrambling, and that's kind of keeping, right? Like, this just makes so much sense to me. The Buccaneers have to get this done. Go out there, please. VA Green 420. They need to go after McDaniel, make him the highest paid coordinator in the league, just like they were going to do for Liam Cohen. 1,000%. The Glazers right now on one side of the pond are looking at how bad it is over at Manchester United. They are going to have to possibly get a new coach in the offseason, whether that's Oliver Glasner, who just said that today he's not going to be returning to Crystal Palace after this season. Maybe a guy like Luis Enrique, who has had some success over there in Europe, that is now at PSG. They're having to answer questions on both sides of the pond. But this guy right here, you got to go after him. You got to go after him. Give me Mike McDaniel with Todd Bowles' defense. And listen, you're hearing this from other places too, where why the Bucs more than anybody else, he has full autonomy on the offense. You're not going to get Todd Bowles meddling in the things that he's doing. He's going to say, this is your offense, go do what you do. And for all the people out there with this narrative of Bowles not promoting somebody or not hiring somebody because he's worried that he's going to take his job, that is such a stupid freaking thing to say. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. That is not anywhere near Todd Bowles' head. You know why? Because when Todd Bowles is gone, who cares? Who cares who the guy is after him? The only way that Bowles is going to stay is if this team does well and the defense plays significantly better than it did last year. That's it. If the offense is great and the defense sucks, Bowles is going to be out of a job. So who cares who you bring in? The only way that Todd Bowles is going to be the coach after the 2026 season, and we said this with Matt Matera earlier this week, is if they win 10 or 11 games and they make a run to the NFC Championship game. And how does that happen? It can't just be one-sided. You got to play complementary football. That means your special teams has to be better. So whoever they hire, that guy's got to do the job a whole heck of a lot better than Thomas McGahee did it. That means the defense needs to do better. That means getting to the quarterback more, coming away with more strip sacks, more interceptions, more fumble recoveries. And then offensively, you have to take a step forward and not be so freaking like we saw last year with such a lack of creativity and consistency. So the Buccaneers have to be better in all three phases for them to be able to make the playoffs next year. But more importantly, for Todd Bowles, for him to keep his job. You think there's a worry for Todd Bowles to bring in Mike McDaniel because he could take his job. That's such a silly argument. That makes zero sense whatsoever. The Buccaneers need to go get Mike McDaniel at all costs. You hear me? At all costs. And again, he is interviewing today for the offensive coordinator spot with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I want to tell you guys real quick about my friends over at Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC, for all your residential and commercial needs. 813-244-0956, thehonesthammer.com, thehonesthammer@gmail.com. Shoot them an email. Tell them that you heard it right here on the Recher podcast, and you can get a discount on, anything that you're trying to do. Kitchen renovations, bathroom renovations. Listen, this is one of those things where you want to trust the people that are working on your home. It's not just your house, it's your home. You want to be able to trust the people that are working on your stuff, right? These are the kind of guys. Russ, my guy Hammer, he's just so, you want to support local. He's a Tampa Bay sports fan. He's a USF grad. He's a guy that's good down to his core. We talk about being kind and that's the kind of guy that you want to work with. I'm so honored and just so lucky that we are partnered with Honest Hammer. He's the first guy to come on board with us. So the way you can reward me is by rewarding him and going to him with when you have business on renovations for your home. And then also EverHealth, everhealth.org, 17 different locations there in Pinellas County. I'm actually in Pinellas County right now as I say that. They want to be with you from the cradle to the grave. They have a sliding scale for the uninsured. They take all kinds of insurance. These are just great people. And listen, if you watch the EverHealth Injury Report every Thursday with Dr. Rodriguez, those are the kind of people that work over there. And if you want to, and I just had somebody reach out to me the other day that wants to get into the medical field. And the EverHealth Institute is so reminiscent of what I was doing at my broadcasting school that got me ready for WDAE and got me ready for sports media. The EverHealth Institute, again, go check it out, everhealth.org. I want to send a shout out to a good friend. She is currently in the finals of Hell's Kitchen that can be seen every Thursday night at 8 p.m. on Fox. Our good friend, Chef Jada Vidal. And she works over at Kinjo right now. And her dad, Nelly, a good friend of mine, the pitcher on the Pendingos. And Jada has just been absolutely crushing it. If you've been following me at all on social media over the years, you know that we've been supporting Jada in this incredible journey. She won Chopped. She won Guys Grocery Games. And she's been in Hell's Kitchen. She's been on Hell's Kitchen for the last couple of months. And she is in the finals representing the state of Florida. It is the battle of the states. She's going up against a young lady from Nevada. But Jada Vidal in the season finale of Hell's Kitchen next Thursday at 8 p.m. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you support our girl. And go to Kinjo here locally and support her because she is unbelievable. 24 years old. She is the best. Unbelievable. I wanted to get on this before we moved on. If White and Yaya say publicly Todd needs to give up the DC play calling for the team's sake, doesn't McDaniel know this? Yeah, but what does that matter to him? What does that have to do with him? It doesn't. So I look at that whole situation, and that's kind of the scary thing because that's what supposedly Todd does well. So for everybody out there, and it was asked during the press conference, are you going to give up play calling duties? And he's not going to do that because he's not a walk-around coach. He's not a Harbaugh. He's not a Tomlin. He calls the defense. And if you don't have him call the defense, then why the hell is he your head coach? Not sure about the time of the interview today, but we know that it hasn't been completed yet because we haven't heard that it's been completed yet. But I'm sure at some point today, we will hear that the interview was complete. Janet Best, Jada will win hands down. I think she's been the best all season, Janet. She's been incredible. Our girl, Jada Vidal from Tampa. Man, I'm so proud of her. Unbelievable. Richie, have you heard about anything about Deontay Green coming back from his Achilles? It's been a year. I haven't. You know, it's funny you say that because I just saw him and I said, get well soon. And I was going to ask somebody and I haven't, but I will definitely, when I get there next week, I'll do that. I'll ask. Is your contention he's a better walk-around coach than a DC? No. I don't think it has anything to do with my opinion. It's not about my opinion. It's not about what I think he's good at or bad at. I'm just telling you why he has the job that he has. He has the job because he calls the defense, not because he's a walk-around coach. So if you take those play calling duties away from him, then you're literally stripping around. You're stripping the thing that he does well. So I'm with you, but it's not the way that the Bucs are going about their business. Speaking of going about their business, look at that. We see more changes when it comes to our Tampa Bay Rays. A trade late last night as the Rays in a 3-team deal send Josh Lowe away. He goes to the Angels in a 3-team trade that brings in Gavin Lux from the Reds, and Gavin Lux was the guy that came up in the Dodgers system, and he went to the Reds in a trade, and the Rays are also getting minor league pitcher Chris Clark. So now that's Lau and Lowe and Fairbanks and Boz and Mangum and Meisner. Morel and Pereira are already gone. Again, we fall into this habit too much with the Rays where we look at one guy's, year and say, wow, look at this 2023 year where he's 292 and 20 home runs. And, it's just not good enough. Not good enough. We have all of these shooting stars where they have these one good year and, that's it. And we're like, well, if he does that, if he stays healthy, if, I just want to get to a point where we're not talking about if when it comes to the Rays. And you gave me some solid information, and we're dealing more with facts than opinions. Now, one of the facts is that Gavin Lux, a 2016 first-round pick by the Dodgers, was a very highly touted prospect. But, obviously if he was that good, then I don't think the Reds would be moving on from him. But here's what we're looking at. I mean, he's probably going to play second base. You look at what this team is going to look like going next year. I think you got to feel pretty optimistic about the infield more than anything. At first base, you got Yandy, you got Aranda. You got Lux is going to play second. You got Chandler Simpson. I'm not Chandler Simpson. Carson Williams at shortstop, and you got Junior Caminero at third. Now your outfield is going to be Chandler Simpson, Johnny DeLuca, Palacios, right? Cedric Mullins, they got him in the deal. He's probably going to play center. Cedric plays some good outfield. We saw the best of him in Baltimore, obviously, with the Orioles he put into the Mets next year. That's a big bat, though, that they were banking on, and they were counting on a guy like Josh Lowe to be a part of this team going forward. It sucks, right? It sucks that we get to a point where in the last 6 months, the Rays have moved on from Josh Lowe. And I'm not talking Brandon Lau, because Brandon Lau was a guy that I think, you understand at some point they were moving on from him, but I don't know if he was ever going to be the long-term answer, right? Because I'm talking about some of the young guys that they moved on. The Rays have to do a better job of developing these young players. And it's not just the position players, it's the pitchers as well. Because in the last 6 months, man, they've traded away Shane Baz, Taj Bradley, and Josh Lowe. Like, man, if I would have told you 18 months ago that the Rays were going to trade away all three of those guys, you would say that I was probably crazy. Like, that's not good. And I understand what happens where, I look at different teams around the sports world, and I look at a team like Brentford over there in England, and they develop all these guys and they have to sell them, but they develop more guys. They developed Brian Abumo, then they sell him to Manchester United. They develop Ivan Toney, then he moves on. Now, this other kid, Thiago, is, I think, one of the best goal scorers in the Premier League. Like, you have to be able to, if you're one of those teams that is going to not pay these guys their first contract or the second contract, and you're just going to draft and develop, all right, well, fine. But you got to develop. You can't just draft. And I don't think the Rays have done a good enough job of developing players at any of their levels. And we have these highly touted prospects, but it can't just be guys that are number one overall picks and number one prospects, right? It's easy to say that the Tampa Bay Lightning did a good job building their roster when you talk about Victor Hedman and Steven Stamkos, top two picks. Andre Vasilevsky, first-round pick. But the Lightning aren't good because of Hedman, Stamkos, and Vazzy. The Lightning are good because of Point and Palat and Kucherov and Gord and guys like that. That's what you have to do. You got to be able to draft those guys and develop. Who is that 4th round pick? Who's that 7th round pick? Who's that 14th round pick that the Rays have brought in and developed? We haven't seen it. So for all the talk about payroll, for all the talk about stadiums, right? And I know the whole HCC thing, forgive me if I'm not just, spending a lot of time on the possible location of a freaking stadium for the Rays. It's almost like the song by Green Day, "Wake Me Up When September Ends." Just wake me up if you guys find a place. I'm not going to sit here and speculate about HCC this. And it's just, why are we wasting our time on that? You're telling me you'd rather talk about that than the College Football National Championship or the Lightning? You're crazy. You're crazy. So what else is crazy is the news that we heard last night is Kyle Tucker, Tampa's own, signing with the Dodgers. Signing with the Dodgers. And the rich get richer. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I guess my question is which system is more jacked up? The NCAA or Major League Baseball? Because between the transfer portal and the NIL money and guys clamoring for 9 games and then still wanting the red shirt and just all the craziness with college football, guys transferring a bunch of times, Lane Kiffin leaving, taking some of his staff, but not all of his staff, 22, 23, and 24-year-olds playing college football, guys making more money in amateur athletics than they are in the pros. Is that more jacked up, or is it Major League Baseball where we look at the Los Angeles Dodgers after winning the World Series, and I don't know if anybody thought that they were going to go out and spend big money. Maybe they would get a free agent here or there. They go out and they get Edwin Diaz, and then they go out and get Kyle Tucker. All of these $100 million contracts that these guys, it's amazing. And for all the talk about how the Yankees were the evil empire in the 90s and the 2000s, this blows them out of the water. This is crazy. And I hate to say it, but we are heading for a stoppage. We are heading for, after this season, I think we're really heading after this season for a stoppage in play for baseball, because this is just getting crazy. I'm all for free enterprise. I'm all for teams going out there and being able to spend what they want to spend. And yeah, you can't fault the Dodgers because they're operating within the system. And if they want to pay that luxury tax, who's to say they can't? That's the way the rules are. And until you have a salary floor and until you have a salary cap, they're going to go about their business and they're going to continue to buy these big time players. Everybody complains about the NIL. Everybody complains about the transfer portal and the NCAAs. You complain about how much money that the Dodgers spend. Well, until there's parameters put in place, then it's the wild, wild west, and it's not going to stop. This is wild, though. I didn't see that coming. I guess I should have. I thought Kyle Tucker was going to go to the Yankees or to the Blue Jays, but no. He spurns both those teams. He spurns the Mets, and he's with the Dodgers. Unbelievable. Which one's worse? Which one is worse? I mean, that's a really good question. I have no idea. I really don't. I want to say, which one is worse, the MLB or the NCAA? I think it's the NCAA because you're dealing with kids for the most part, right? 18 to 22, 23, 24-year-olds. And the transfer portal is just a mess, and the NIL is a mess. But there's also something to be said about the major leagues where it's like, it's the Dodgers of the field, right? Where's the parity in the game? They're going to go for 3 in a row next year. Who the hell's going to stop them? I don't know. Padres? Braves, Phillies. I don't know, man. You're going to have to spend $250 million if you're going to do that. And even if you do that, it still might not be enough. So I don't know. I think I'll probably lean for the NCAA being more out of whack, but I mean, the MLB is certainly not too far behind. All right. Make sure you guys follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Like and subscribe as well. Again, if you're just joining us, Bo Bichette signs a 3-year, $126 million contract with the Mets. He's going to play third base for them, which is smart because they have a couple of guys that can play second. You know, Francisco Lindor plays shortstop. And for all the people out there that you're talking about Bo Bichette and playing shortstop, like, pay attention. He was one of the lowest rated defensive shortstops in the game. And we spoke about that here on the program. So for people to say, oh, they play shortstop for the Yankees. Like, no, he's not. He's not going to play shortstop for the Yankees. Pay attention. As bad as Anthony Volpe is, he's definitely got a good glove, a better glove than what we saw last year. That is for sure. All right, we're going to wrap things up today on this Friday program with my predictions for NFL playoff weekend. I got one game wrong last weekend, and it was the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. If Caleb Williams didn't make that incredible throw running to his left and throwing back. But hey, he did. So you got to, tip your hat. Buffalo and Denver Saturday at 4:30 there at Mile High. I'm going to stay with Josh Allen. I look at this matchup and I look at Sean Payton. Bo Nix is still a second-year quarterback. He can't try to be Superman in this, because if they fall behind and try to come back, you're not going to go up against an offense that's not going to find a way to score. That's just Josh Allen for you. And he may not make it all the way to the championship game, because I think it'll be tough even if they win this game because of the defense that they're going to face next, regardless if it's Houston and New England. I just think it's going to probably be a little bit too much. But I'm going to go with Buffalo in this one. And now you start really analyzing with some of these teams being out, who could be in the Super Bowl for the AFC? One of these four teams. One of Buffalo, Denver, Houston, and New England. Crazy. I'll go with Buffalo in that one. Saturday night, 8 o'clock. I know the smart money is probably on the Seahawks. They just beat them. George Kittle's hurt. But there's just something about this game. There's just something about it where I'm leaning San Francisco. I just think it's the experience. I think that Brock Purdy is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's not 100%. Sam Darnold's another guy that just seems to make the wrong decision at the wrong time. I get it. And Fred Warner is not coming back. I know we spoke about this yesterday with Dr. Rodriguez. He's not coming back, but I think that's got to be a motivating factor for them to see their middle linebacker. And that's got to be motivation for them, knowing if we can win another game, maybe Fred can play. If we can win 2 more games, maybe Fred can play in the Super Bowl. I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers. I know I'm going to be in the minority for this one. I just think that the experience is going to win out. The first game on Sunday is at 3 p.m., Houston and New England. I said earlier this week, the scariest unit remaining in the playoffs is the Houston Texans defense, and I don't, shy away from that. But the one thing, and I didn't say this in the video, I cannot stand what I've seen from CJ Stroud. He's not taking care of the football, man. You have to take care of the football. You're going to be on the road. The weather's not going to be great. You're going to go against a really well-coached team. Their defense is really good. I'm going to go with New England for that reason. If CJ Stroud can take care of the football, I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans won. But because of that reason, because he just seems to be so careless with the ball, I'm going to go with New England. You would think with him being a little older than Drake May that he would have the edge there, but it just seems like Drake May does a better job than he does. And then finally, Sunday night, 6:30, the Rams and the Chicago Bears. I think this is where it ends for the Chicago Bears. I think the Rams win this one. When you look at a guy like Matthew Stafford, again, the same thing with Josh Allen. I think the Chicago Bears struggle maybe out of the gates. The Rams put it on them. I think the Bears fight back because they've shown heart and resilience all year long. But I think they get to a point where they're not going to be able to slow down that Rams offense. Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Parkinson. Like, there's just a lot of weapons there. And Matthew Stafford knows how to win games like this. So those are my picks. I'm going with Buffalo, San Francisco, New England, and the Rams. So 3 road warriors and 1 home team. I love picking the road teams. That's just the way I roll. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for me today on the program. It's been a great week. Second week complete here in 2026. I could not do this without you. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. A big thank you to Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC, for all your residential and commercial needs. Again, 813-244-0956. EverHealth as well, everhealth.org. A big thank you to Tricia Whitaker. A big thank you to Jeff Attinella as well. And then David Terry with the $10 super chat, the Liverpool legend. David Terry, thank you so much, my friend. Can't keep doing the show without super chats and without our partners. A big thank you to the Tampa Bay Rowdies as well for housing me here in the bowels of Al Lang Stadium, the historic Al Lang Stadium. I'll be posting some content a little bit later on. My chat with Coach Dominic Cassiano. I'm excited. I'm excited for the Rowdies. Last year was not good, and they know that. And they're putting a change to all this and some fresh faces. Got a chance to talk to a bunch of the guys today. Lewis Hilton's back. Lawrence White is back. So 2 of the names that you remember, they're here. But man, some new faces here at Al Lang, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Rowdysoccer.com for all the information. They start up in March, and very excited to see what they have going on. I love you all, everybody. Have a safe and a happy and a healthy weekend, and go Bolts. They're in action tonight in St. Louis against the St. Louis Blues. Yes. Julie Stewart-Binks will join us next week. Rich Hollenberg will join us next week, and so will Ian Beckles. Hopefully we're talking about an Indiana Hoosiers victory. I love you all. Be well. Have a great weekend. See you Monday at noon right here on the Jay Recher Podcast.